When it comes to any fantasy or sci-fi universe, a common debate often found inside fan bases is who are the best single fighters inside the universe. Inside Warhammer 40,000, we seriously have no lacking in contenders to some of the greatest and most powerful warriors in the fiction. From zealous warriors of the Imperium to devastating Xenos and powerful demons. We're going to take a look at who are the top 5 greatest warriors inside Warhammer 40k. Now, I just wanted to preface this video before I started. By no means is this a definitive list, and this isn't in any particular order. This is me highlighting warriors I think could contend with being the greatest fighters in the universe. Just some rules. I wanted to keep it to people active in the setting, and I've purposely stayed clear from Primarchs, because let's be real, if I did include them, this would quickly turn into a Primarch lore video. So let's dive in. Never had so much alien blood drench the arena. How could this be followed? The crowd cried out for more. There could be no end to the spectacle now. Then Lelith herself strode into the arena. The crowd hushed at the very sight of her beauty and elegance. Her flesh bared as if to taunt the blade to draw her blood. Her hair loose, as if to tempt her adversary to grip it and strike the death blow. This was the way she liked to perform, so calm, so confident, so cold. The crowd gasped as she brandished her chosen weapons, a flashing of ice-cold silver, the kiss of death. Then, the aliens were released into the ring. Not one, not two, but 10 assailants at once. Lelith danced with them, gifting each a single choice wound. The crowd roared their approval. The entertainment would last long into the bloody evening. Lelith Hesperax is a particularly dangerous Drukhari succubus of the witch cult of strife, and is the current undisputed champion of the dreaded gladiatorial arenas of Camorra. Being so effective in the arena, she has become the favourite of the Overlord Vect himself. She has honed her skill in combat to a perfect art, flowing through the battle with speed and grace of a dancer, dealing death with the slightest flick of her weapons. Lelith is a true genius and innovator in the art of combat, constantly adapting and changing the way she fights, capturing her foes unaware and dealing swift, entertaining death. Her supernatural speed and deadly skill is a legend of all Camorra. Her deeds in the arena have elevated her legend to such a degree, only the wealthiest Drukhari can even afford to glimpse her exploits in the arena. After spending an unfathomable amount of time honing her art, Lelith has developed her entire body into deadly weapons. Alongside her signature flashing blades in each hand, her flowing mane of hair is sewn with barbs and hooks. Her dexterous legs are edged with razor-sharp spurs, capable of slitting throats with a light kick. And finally, her fingernails have been fortified to be as sharp and as tough as a scalpel. When she makes a rare excursion into real space to raid, Lelith will hunt out exotic and fearsome prey, searching for the most formidable elites and champions of other spacefaring species. After defeating Yvraine in the arena in a legendary duel, and then bearing witness to the resurrection of Yvraine and the partial awakening of Yniad, Lelith now follows the Ynnari leader, committing her abilities and her cult to the destruction of Slaanesh. However, Lelith's true goal is the capture of Lucius the Eternal, to strip him of his armour and battle him inside the Camorra arena. Next up on the list is Kaldor Draigo, the supreme Grandmaster of the Grey Knights. He is up there with one of the most powerful warriors the Imperium has ever seen. Being lost in the warp for the last century, on occasion Kaldor can return to real space to fight alongside his brothers once more. His legend truly began on the world of Aquilum in 799 M41. The Imperial world fell victim to a massive demon incursion, led by the demon prince Makar the Reborn. The incursion not only threatened the world of Aquilum, but the entire Vaidar sector. Alongside 9 Astra Militarum regiments, and Space Marines from the Astral Knights and the Flesh Tearers, the Grey Knights came to the aid of Aquilum. In the desperate battles that followed the incursion, the Grey Knights launched an assault on the Demon Prince's fortress. Draigo faced Makar, dealing the killing blow on the Great Demon Prince, banishing him back to the warp. But the Demon Prince, with its last seconds in real space, placed a curse on Draigo.
Victory is yours this day, mortal. But now that if you ever set foot upon this world again, you and all who follow shall walk with damnation for 10 millennia.
Draigo was then promoted to a Justicar, and for the next 200 years, he battled and banished many powerful demons and warp threats, until he eventually rose to the title of Grandmaster in 901 M41, following the death of the previous Lord of the chapter at the hands of Mortarion. In an act of revenge, Draigo carved his predecessor's name on the very diseased heart of Mortarion. At the beginning of the 42nd millennium, news reached Draigo of a renewed demon attack on Arkrellum. Draigo, suspecting a chaos trap to trigger the curse, forbade his fellow Grey Knights from aiding Arkrellum. Draigo then undertook the trip alone, adamant he would face his destiny head on. Fighting alongside the Imperial defenders, he unleashed his potent psychic flame, slaying countless demons, plague zombies, and abominations of Nurgle. In the Trobarin Valley, Draigo single-handedly held the rear guard for 2 solar days, allowing a Cadian regiment to retreat. Eventually, the Grey Knight would meet the Demon Prince Makar atop the mountains of Shadow Peak. With the heroes of the Astra Militarum fighting a desperate battle below, Draigo knew he must once again slay Makar to end the renewed demon invasion. Battling in front of a warp rift, the Demon Prince spat curses and insults at Draigo, attempting to corrupt the Grey Knight, his words finding no way to enter the heart of the Grandmaster. Time after time, Draigo unleashed his psychic power on the demon, drenching the prince in psychic fire, Makar merely laughing in retort. The tide of battle began to move in Makar's favour, with Draigo being pushed onto the back foot. Makar, harnessing his full potential, smote Draigo with his demon blade, driving the Grey Knight to one knee and shattering his foresword. Bent, but unbroken, Draigo roared a battle cry, lunging at Makar just as he was celebrating his victory, plunging the remains of his sword deeply inside the Demon Prince's heart. The Grey Knight stood victorious, watching as Makar's power diminished and began to be drawn back into the warp. But before Makar was finally swept back into the warp, he caught hold of Draigo, dragging the Grey Knight with him. Yet, the legend of Kaldor Draigo doesn't end there. His mind hardened to such a degree, he ignored the temptations of the warp, travelling the realm. He walked this perilous path under constant attack by all manners of demons. Venturing through Khorne's domain, he made it atop the Bloodfalls, slaying the Bloodthirster Karvoth, purging his weapon from the unclean taint and using the warp metal to reforge his sword. I could honestly go on and on about Kaldor's accomplishments in the warp, from burning Nurgle's garden, slaying the handmaidens of Slaanesh, to slaying the Lord of Change, Makachen. Eventually, demons no longer hunted Draigo, apart from the occasional Khorne minion. Although evidently immune to the Chaos God's effect, Draigo still struggled to gain any meaningful victories inside that strange realm. With the opening of the Cicatrix Maledictum, Kaldor found himself able to travel into real space more frequently, aiding his brothers in desperate battles.
Unconventional? Yes. Heretical? Verging upon it. Yet through his actions, Guardsman Marbo rescued not only the governor's household, but also, in retrospect, the entire war effort. My lords, after long consideration, I can only recommend that you approve the deployment of Guardsman Marbo and thank the Emperor that he is on our side.
Sly Marbo is one of the few baseline humans on our list. Often referred to as the one-man army, He is one of the most decorated soldiers in the entire Imperial Guard ever recorded in Imperial history. A revered member of the Katajan Jungle Fighters, his extensive combat skills, predominantly in sharpshooting, survival, and ambush tactics. It has even been said he rivals the skills of the Adeptus Astartes. Little is known of Sly Marbo's origin. First, casually walking onto Imperial record during the War of Urgok on Riza. Marbo and his 9 brothers were inducted into the same guard regiment and were sent to face off against the Greenskin invasion. In a disastrous attack, the entire regiment was thought to have been wiped out, killed to the last man. Until 2 solar weeks later, Sly Marbo appeared casually strutting from the jungle, with the Orc warlord's head in his hand and a single bullet wound between the Orc's eyes. On the world of Galabad, Marbo was a member of a small garrison, quickly overrun and captured by Drukhari. On the Imperial world, the foul Xenos tortured the guardsmen one by one, bathing in their pain. A rescue force was sent to Galabad, and upon reaching the Drukhari encampment, they found Sly Marbo alone, with nothing but a knife in hand, and the corpses of the Dark Eldar scattered around him, and the Archon's head on a stick. Marbo's legend began to grow, with stories circulating of Marbo destroying an entire convoy by booby-trapping an entire ravine. He also captured an alien command post single-handedly while killing the Xenos leader and their bodyguard with nothing but his bare hands and a ration tin. Sly Marbo saw further service inside the Third War for Armageddon, waging a one-man war in the industrial wastelands against an entire Orc company, slaying the Greenskins, leaving no survivors. He also served during the 13th Black Crusade. Imperial command began to be mystified by slaughtered cultist encampments, the corpses being killed by stealth tactics. Imperial forces were further alarmed when they found traitor Astartes corpses killed by similar tactics. Local command began to suspect covert Adeptus Astartes were in the area. That is, until a complete investigation and it became apparent Sly Marbo was actually active in the area. Our 4th warrior on the list comes with many names: the Blade of Eons, Soul Thief, Scion of Chemos, and Fulgrim's champion, but you'll know him as Lucius the Eternal. Originally a loyal space marine in the Emperor's Children, Lucius quickly rose to the rank of 13th captain, showcasing an exceptional level of arrogance that is stereotypical of Fulgrim's children. Although starting off as a loyalist in the heresy, his arrogance and jealousy eventually drove him to turn traitor. Unable to abide living in the shadow of the successor of his friend Sal Tarvitz, he agreed to join the side of Horus while delivering his friend to him. Lucius most likely will receive his own video in his entire life, but just take it from me, he has seen some action in his time, from fearsome battles in the Great Crusade, leading victories in the Horus Heresy, and rampaging through the Eye of Terror later on. Lucius, however, has rightly earned the name Eternal. A peculiar curse blessed upon him by Slaanesh means that anyone who slaughters Lucius and takes an ounce of pleasure from the victory will undergo a metamorphosis, with Lucius emerging from them like a butterfly from a cocoon. The only person capable of killing Lucius would be a warrior who would kill the traitor Astartes out of pure mercy. Over the course of the millennia, he has led his motley warband of heretic Astartes, trailing the galaxy, searching for the greatest melee combatants the galaxy has to offer, dueling them in one-on-one combat. This has seen Lucius defeat Drukhari Archon Vresku, the Emperor's champion of the Black Templars, and the Orc war boss, Two Claws. In Lucius' right hand, he wields a demon weapon, the Lash of Torment, taking either the form of a whip or lengthy tendrils. Barbed with hooks, the whip can cut through armour. Bound inside the lash is the spirit of a demonette, giving the weapon a complete will of its own. In his left, he wields the Blade of Lier, a relic power sword, found upon a Xenos planet. Now the last, but by no means least on this list of the greatest warriors in Warhammer 40k, belongs to an Eldari of significant might. This Eldari has slain demon princes, orc warlords, and champions of mankind. Known as the Burning Lance, Fuegan is an Asauriani Phoenix Lord and the founder of the Fire Dragon Aspect Warriors. Millennia ago, Fuegan learnt his craft in the Shrine of Asa under the watch of a sermon. When the Eldari began their flight in their craft worlds, he founded shrines of the Fire Dragon upon their giant ships. The shrines of the Fire Dragon teach utter destruction of their enemies through overkill, so their demise is certain. Fuegan taught his acolytes in the use of fire and flame, channeling the power of the dragon. Fuegan was thought to have been killed when the Shrine of Asa was destroyed. He reappeared centuries later during the final battle of the Harin Shamash. Here, he single-handedly slayed a host of demon lords in combat using his dreaded fire pike, and then further slayed more with his rune axe. Each lord imparted a wound upon Fuegan, but rather than slow and hurt the Eldari, it rather invigorated him, driving his resolve to slay the warp entities. After fierce fighting, Fuegan cast his eyes across the battlefield, shocked to see no demon remained. After this desperate battle, Fuegan now roams the webway, hunting ancient foes and returning to real space on occasion, leading his Fire Dragon Exarchs into formidable battles. Fuegan later appeared under the command of Jain Zar. Now pledged to the Ynnari, Fuegan took part in the battle to defend the Ynnari against 1,000 Suns and Tzeentch demons in the webway. An Eldari prophecy has stated Fuegan will be present for the final battle against Chaos, wielding his chain to bind the dragon at the end of days, a feat that would boast mastery of destruction itself. That's it for today, guys. I hope I didn't upset you all too much with that list. I had a lot of fun compiling it, and I'll definitely be doing another one. Let me know what you think below, and who you'd also put in the top 5. Thanks for joining me, guys. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe. Thank you. See you all in a bit.